I thought I was done when the season ended. I wasn't ready to announce it, and I knew I needed some time to really decide. But I was pretty sure I played my last game. This is my last decision. I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete to win and to have a chance at the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help the Philadelphia 76ers, a championship team, and I am so excited to energize a new fan base and start the incredible journey one last time. Thank you, LA. Miami, I'll forever love, and Northeast Ohio will always be home. That's the statement, that's the quote, that's the official word from LeBron James, 41 years old, announcing he's signing with the 76ers. Welcome to the Ref-Horrendumb. I am Big John, and for the next however long this podcast lasts, we are not going to celebrate this. We're going to demolish him. We are going to not act like this is some noble final chapter. We're going to take a decision apart, piece by piece, to show you exactly why this is one of the most transparent, ego-driven, delusional moves of LeBron's entire career. This is not a Welcome to Philly show. This is a demolition. Let's start with the timeline, because the way that the decision dragged on is embarrassing. The season ends. LeBron's Lakers are out. The narrative machine immediately kicks into gear. Is this the end? Is LeBron retiring? Will he play one more year? For weeks, we got the soft leaks, the anonymous sources. The LeBron is taking his time, reports. Every national show had a segment. Every podcast had a take, including this one. The man turned free agency decisions into a month-long soap opera, similar to Brett Favre. But yet, the media destroyed him for that. The only people I saw criticizing LeBron James was Stephen A. Smith. At 41 years old, most players at that age either know they're done or they quietly sign somewhere and show up to camp. LeBron needed a full media circus. He needed the drama. He needed the world to wait for him one more time. He needed the camera. He said he wasn't ready to announce it, and he needed some time to really decide. Bro, you've been in the league 23 years. You've made more decisions about your career than most people make about their entire lives. You don't need time. You need an audience. This is the same pattern we've seen over and over. The decision in 2010, the long process before going back to Cleveland, the careful choreography every single time he changes teams. It's never just basketball. It's always a production for LeBron James. And this time the production was especially stupid because the basketball case was weak from the start. There was no mystery about his physical decline. There was no mystery about what he still needs up on the floor. And the only mystery was how long he was going to make everyone wait while he figured out the best way to frame the story. That's not leadership. That's not sacrifice. That is control. Now let's talk about the actual statement, because it's a masterpiece of self-mythology. I thought I was done when the season ended. Okay, then why the long process? Why the weeks of silence and soft reports? If you truly thought you were done, you walk away, bro. You don't hold a press conference in slow motion. He goes on to say, I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. Then what are you going for, LeBron? Be honest. You're going for the narrative. You're going for one more chance to be the main character. You want to be the protagonist so bad, it gets tiring. You're going for the documentary footage. You're going for the final chapter where you get to write yourself as the guy who still wanted it more than anybody. You want your last dance to mimic Michael Jordan's last dance. Michael Jordan's last dance, and that's not going to happen. You are not Michael Jordan, nor will you ever be. He says, I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. The body doesn't care what you want at 41. The knees don't care. The recovery time doesn't care. The young athletes flying around you in the East don't care. Wanting it is not the same as still having it. I believe I can help make the 76ers a championship team, he says. That's the most delusional line in the entire statement. The 76ers were already a contender. They already had the pieces. Adding a 41-year-old high-usage player who needs the offense run through him is not helping. It's forcing the entire system to bend around you one more time for one more season. And then the closer. He says, I am so excited to energize a new fan base. From my perspective, most fans hate you. 25 and above, they can't stand you, and for good reason. Philly fans don't need you to energize them, because I guarantee you, once you fail, they will hate you. They need Joel Embiid to get his health right. They need Tyrese Maxey cooking. They need continuity. They don't need a 41-year-old superstar arriving with a personal narrative and a camera crew. This statement isn't humble. It's not reflective. It's a man still trying to control the story of his own ending. So why Philly? Well, that's the question nobody in the media wants to ask hard enough. Why not stay in LA and try to run it back with a real supporting cast if you still had something left? Remember, when you first got to LA, you had a supporting cast, but you got rid of all of them. Why not go to a team that actually needed a veteran presence without forcing the entire offense to change? Why the Sixers? Because Philly gives him the biggest stage lift. Because Philly already has enough talent, he can sell the idea of one more run. because the East is perceived as softer, because he can walk in and immediately become the main character again. Look what he did in the West. A Mickey Mouse championship that doesn't truly count because nobody was there. You got knocked out of the playoffs multiple times in the first round when your defenders were, Jordan got kicked out of the playoffs in the first round twice. And look what happened. LeBron would never do that. And look what happened. And look what happened. Well, let's look at the actual basketball fit. Tyrese Maxey is a high-usage guard who needs the ball. Joel Embiid is a high-usage big who needs the ball in the post and at the elbows. LeBron James is a high-usage forward who has spent his entire career needing the ball in his hands. You cannot run 3 high-usage players like that in 2026 without a massive friction. It's not going to work. Somebody has to sacrifice road touches. Somebody has to take a back seat. And we already know how that conversation usually goes when LeBron is involved. Defensively, a 41-year-old LeBron is not what he used to be. The foot speed is gone. The ability to switch, everything is gone. In a league that keeps getting faster and more skilled, that is a real problem in May and June. Spacing becomes an issue in certain lineups. Play calling becomes an issue. Ego management becomes an issue. This is not a seamless fit. This is a forced fit design around LeBron's needs, not the team's. He didn't go to Philly because it was the best basketball decision. He went because it was the best narrative decision. Let's talk about who's actually around him. Joel Embiid. When healthy, he's still a monster. The problem is when the healthy part. We have years of evidence that Embiid's availability in the playoffs is a coin flip at best. Building a final title run around a 41-year-old and a big man with Embiid's injury history is not a smart roster construction. It's hope. Whoever put this together is an idiot. Tyrese Maxey is excellent. He's young, explosive, and improving, but he is not a finished product who can just defer to LeBron and still be efficient. Their games will clash more than the media wants to admit. Watch it happen. Okay, well, what about the role players? The bench? The secondary creators? None of them are built to carry a declining superstar the way the Heat role players once did, or the way their early Cavs teams did. This is not 2012. This is not 2016. The supporting cast in Philly is good enough to contend without LeBron, but it is not specifically built to maximize a 41-year-old LeBron James. And that's the core problem. LeBron still plays like the offense should run through him. At this stage of his career, that is no longer a strength, it's a limitation. The decision doesn't exist in a vacuum. It fits a pattern that has defined LeBron's entire career. The decision, the decision, the decision. The not 1, not 2, not 3 speech, the carefully managed free agencies, the constant need to control the narrative, the friends in the media who push him nonstop, the way every team he joins becomes about his legacy first and the franchise second, and then chaos after he leaves. He has always been the main character. Even when he was winning titles, the story was always filtered through his journey, not the team's. Now at 41, with the physical tools clearly declining, he needs to stay the main character, and he'll do anything to make sure that happens. That is the only thing at a peak elite level, and that's his ego. Again, this is not about one more championship. If it was purely about winning, I think there were better paths he could have taken. This is about one more stage, one more chance to hear the applause, one more chance to write the ending himself, one more chance to prove he's better than Michael Jordan, and that is not going to happen. This is not competition, folks. This is pure ego performance. So let's bring it all the way home. LeBron, he's 41. He signed with the 76ers after a long, dramatic decision process that had nothing to do with basketball clarity and everything to do with narrative control. He released a statement full of sacrifice language while making a move that forces an already good team to revolve around him. The supporting cast is not built for this version of him. The body is not what it was. The league has moved on to younger and more explosive stars. This will not end with the championship parade in Philadelphia. It will end with load management excuses. And that's a shame because people knowing this is going to be his supposed final year are going to go to the game with their kids, families are, and hope to see him. And if he's on the bench, what good does that do for that family who spent maybe a month's savings or months of savings to see this man play in that city? This is supposed to be his swan song, and I guarantee you he will not play all 82 games. Is just not going to happen. Again, it will end with load management, with excuses about supporting cast, with quiet complaints about touches, and with another chapter in the endless LeBron documentary where he gets to frame himself as the guy who still wanted it. The media will protect him as they always do. Their narratives will soften. The highlights will be cherry-picked. I'm not doing that. This is bad basketball, and it's wrapped up in legacy, ego-driven language. It is not the last act of a player who cannot walk away from the spotlight. It is the last act of a player who can not walk away from the spotlight. And when it fails, and it will fail, don't act surprised. That's the truth. Do you think LeBron could have won somewhere else? Do you think he's going to do good with Philly? Do you think they will win a championship? What are the odds? I haven't even looked at them myself yet. But this has been the Ref-Horrendumb. I am Big John. Stay honest because he won't. And we'll see you next time. God bless.